Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to my bedroom. It doesn't have the best ring to it. Welcome back to the studio, the channel. This is Preston with Upstairs Basement. As you can see, I finally decided to use a microphone. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about how to make a business plan for your music studio. I wanted to create a business plan for the company for many different reasons. First of all, I just think it's a good idea to get everything in your brain down on paper, and it really helps you figure out what you're going for, helps you understand your business a little better, something you can always revert back to. I didn't really know where to start, so I simply just Google searched business plan. So we're going to do that now. You can use literally any of these. Let me just click on this one here. Okay, that looks too complicated. Let's see what this one looks like. Okay, so you put all of your information inside of it and it will generate a business plan for you. Something like this will just give you a great idea of how a business plan is supposed to be formatted, and it will tell you what information to include in your business plan when drafting it. But enough of this. I'm going to go over to Google Docs. We are going to draft up our own. Let's start from a blank template. I'm not going to worry about the text size or the font or anything like that. For right now, I'm just going to try to lay it all out, show you guys what you need to include. So to start, we're going to do business name, comma, LLC. And directly under that, we're going to do the category, recording studio. Boom. Now, right in this middle part, I like to include a logo just to have it on the page. It's not necessary, but it makes it look pretty. And then right down here, we're going to do address. Now, if you're not in a physical location yet and you don't want to include your home address, you can always get a PO box and use that as your address until you get into a physical location. And then right down here, I like to include my name, my phone number, and business email. This way, all your contact info is on the front page. We're gonna go ahead and switch this to Times New Roman, just because you should. And this first part is going to be the executive summary. Essentially, talk a little bit about your business. I think this is a very good sentence for the introduction, just straight to the point. So it clearly shows that this is an LLC and that you're the owner of it. The name of your business, who owns it, where you're located, and what they can expect. Now, the second part is going to be the management team. If you're starting the studio by yourself, that's totally fine. We love all self-motivated individuals, but basically you just want to list here, you've assembled a skilled management team with however many years of experience you have, whatever employees that you have currently. This is where you want to list them. You can also include a bio for each of your employees. You can include their role, how long they've been doing it, where they've previously worked, kind of like a mini resume for each individual. Next part, we're going to include our mission. You want just one sentence that just says exactly what you bring to the table. I'll go ahead and show you guys what my mission statement was for my business plan. The Upstairs Basement's mission is to provide the highest quality audio recordings for our clients while focusing on an immersive experience that they long remember. Sounds good, looks good. Move on. Next, you want to talk a little bit about what you're actually bringing to the table. So for my studio, I'm going to be offering recording and production services. For this part, you don't need to go super in depth. You know, I would still do a paragraph form. Talk about your excellent customer service. You can say something like top of the line gear, which produces high quality recordings. We offer vocal mixing and mastering services to get songs ready for distribution. Now we're going to move on to part 2. This is going to be our business summary. First thing that we're going to discuss here is the industry itself. Just a list here so you can see how big your market is. 82.1 million Americans have paid streaming subscriptions. It's a lot of people. You know, it just gives you an idea of how big the industry is and includes a couple fun facts. Next, we're going to talk about current trends. The big one, Mrs. TikTok. You can also discuss how studios in your area are succeeding right now, whether they have really cheap prices or a great product, whatever's going on right now that you need to be paying attention to. Next, we're going to talk about our focus, you know, how you want your clients to perceive your company. Number 1, customer service. And under that, you're just going to want to put how. What are you going to do differently from other music studios to offer better customer service? Quality. Every studio in the world says best quality, but you want to explain what the quality is. List what microphone you use, gear you have. That way the artists can see what equipment you have and they know what they're going to be using when they're there. The next thing I wanted to focus on is the artist experience. It's very important that every single client that steps into your building leaves with a wow factor. I really want to focus on an aesthetically pleasing atmosphere, something that really generates creativity. You know, a place where an artist wants to stay for a long period of time. Integrity. I think this is the most important one. For example, one of your clients wants to get a song mixed and mastered, and you say, okay, it's going to be this price. There's a 48-hour turnaround time. They better get that track in 48 hours, because that is what builds trust with clients, and that's what keeps them coming back. Boom. Business goals. Here you want to list short-term goals and long-term goals, whether that's followers, revenue, how much money you want to make, and how you're going to make that money. Because you don't want to get into the studio and see that you wrote down that you need to make 10 grand, but have no plan of making that 10 grand. And then for your 3 to 5 year plan, obviously your goal is for your revenue to increase. So here you want to write how you're going to increase it, whether that's raising rates, whether that's hiring more engineers, whether it's upgrading your gear, boost that revenue. That's what you want to write here. Moving on, number 3 is going to be marketing summary. This is where we're going to talk about our target markets. Hooray! I will go ahead and show you guys exactly who I target. Number 1 is going to be repeat clients. These are the people that bring the dough every month. Whether you offer them deals or promotion on your page, whatever you can do to keep those clients coming back, you gotta do it. You want them coming back weekly, monthly, daily if they can. Next is going to be independent artists. I really like working with individuals and helping them grow as an artist. Bands are cool. They got 4 or 5 people in their group. They're able to pay for sessions a lot easier than one individual artist. Audio engineers, figure out how to get engineers in your studio. There's many different ways on how you can pay an audio engineer. The most important thing is figure out what works for you. Producers are hard to target. They can make beats anywhere. I think the best thing you can do for a producer is figure out how to include them in the company, make them part of the team, introduce them to your artists, because a producer is going to want to book time in your studio to make beats if they have artists there to sell them to. Videographers, if you can bring them business, they will bring you business. Artists are going to ask you who shoots music videos. You can also work out deals with videographers. If you bring them clients, they can cut you a percentage. Pricing strategy. So for client pricing, you're gonna want to list how much recording sessions cost. You know, if you do an hourly rate, if you do a 2-hour minimum, non-refundable deposits, you want to list all that right here. You can also discuss your mixing and mastering services. If you have studio A, B, C, you can discuss the different pricing for them. For engineer pricing, you can discuss how you're going to pay your engineers, you know, whether you pay them an hourly rate. Producer pricing, same thing. This will be a cheaper price because you don't have to pay an engineer. They can use the gear themselves, hook up to the speakers, do their own thing. For other pricing, you can list all kinds of things here, whether you sell drinks and snacks, you hold networking events, if there's like an entry fee, if you have merchandise, you know, t-shirts, stickers, whatever you decide to do to bring in more income for your studio, that's what you want to list here. Next is going to be promotional strategy. Here is very simple. You just want to talk about the good old social media. List what platforms that you plan on posting on, you know, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, whether you're going to focus on the content, whether you're going to focus on the quantity, discuss how many posts per week, if you're going to run ads for your studio, how you're going to get the studio known in your city. Next is going to be your SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So think about your strong suits as a studio, how you currently stand out, put that under strengths, weaknesses, things you need to improve on, obviously. Opportunities, you know, whether it's upgrading your gear, increasing your rates, or whatever opportunities you think are out there to make your studio bigger. For threats, really the only threat I can think of is a studio undercutting your prices while exceeding your quality. That'd be a threat. So that's why your pricing strategy is so important. Next up is going to be competition. You want to know who's trying to beat you, who's trying to do the same thing you trying to do. Basically, you just want to list your primary competitors. I would stick to your location. Anything that's outside an hour away from you, probably not your competition, because unless an artist is traveling, most people record, you know, at a studio close to them. Now, when I think about competitors, I think about their pricing. I think about their gear, the clients that they have, you know, how many rooms there are and what those rooms are used for. Basically, you just want to get a very good idea of who's around and why they're around. I mean, I don't want to say your goal is to, you know, take them out of business, but your goal is definitely to stand out. Speaking of standing out, this is where you want to list your competitive advantages. List what you're going to do differently, how you're going to attract clients to come to your studio instead of those studios, deals you offer, equipment you offer, the hardware, if you don't allow smoking inside of the studio, whatever it is that makes you different. And then last but not least, financial plan. You really want to write out your projections here. You want to write out how much money you're going to make. So that way you can look back on this after a year and say, wow, I can't believe I thought I'd make that little. You just want to write out your gross revenue, how much money the studio is going to be bringing in. If you exceed your goal throughout the year and you want to increase it, you can always do that. That's a great thing about having a business plan like this. It can constantly be updated. You're always going to have to adapt as a business owner, so expect to change this plan many times. If I missed anything, if y'all have any tips for me, please let me know down in the comments. You know, I accept any and all feedback. Leave a like on the video, pretty please. For a small channel like me, it really helps out a lot. And if you enjoy music content like this, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. That way you're notified every time I post. I'm currently posting weekly content, so every Saturday. Thank you so much for watching the video. Hope you learned something from it, and I will see you next week.